I saw many people going into my mum's care home who I didn't even recognise. And I questioned this. And I said, who are these people, carers, etc., looking after my mum? I said, I don't recognise them. They were agency staff that would come in. What does that tell you? So I couldn't go in and see my mum, but agency staff could.
Yeah.
It's a big enough one for me.
And it just seems incredibly unfair, Tony. It just seems incredibly unfair because there will be so many people out there who missed out on that last moment and the hand touch and the whisperings in the ear. And do you mind me asking this in light of today and the revelations and quite possibly revelations to come, if Matt Hancock was in front of you right now, what would you say to him?
I actually don't know what I would say. I really don't know. And I'd have to be held back maybe. Because when I met him in 2020, after losing my mum, I was half the person. That was only months, few short months after losing mum. And I could see, like before we got there, myself and my lawyer, we get to Suffolk, to his constituents. And we were drilled, it was drilled into me. You must bring this, you must bring this, you must put your mask on. Everything, basically, like a Martian. I agreed on everything. I said, of course I will. I just wanted to meet him. I needed that closeness to know. I just knew I had to fill my jigsaw pieces, if you see where I'm coming from. I knew this was going to happen. I knew the whole thing was a farce. So when I got outside his office in Suffolk, we were told to wait in our cars. I waited. The lady came out who was ushering us through. She said, Matt, we'll see you in 5 minutes. Can you make sure you've got the hand sanitizers there when you come in? You must put your masks on, social distancing, everything. Just what I expected. And so did my lawyer. I said, yes, no problem. We'll follow your lead. She comes out and she walks us through. Now, I was expecting what he was telling everybody on the TV, basically. That's what I was expecting. I walked in there and I just couldn't believe it. He came straight across to me and he was going to shake my hand. And he went, oh, I better not shake your hand. Now, I was stunned. Literally, I was stunned. And my lawyer was stood by me. We went to sit down. We sat down and he asked what was, how I felt, what my aim was. And I explained everything to him. And I was speaking through a muzzle, the face mask. He had no mask on. My lawyer had a mask on. So just the two of us. My lawyer was sat next to my right side here. Matt Hancock was sat in front of me, and the lady who was dictating whatever she was doing across the room there. Now, as I started talking, I got very emotional. As you can imagine, he was asking the questions of my mum, what I wanted, what I was trying to achieve, and I just broke down. And at that point, Matt Hancock looked like he was going to break as well, if I'm honest. And he leaned across to me and he put his hand on my knee and he said to me, take your mask off. He was here. Now, even looking back on that scenario now where I am today, I didn't take it off. I couldn't believe what he was saying to me. And I looked across at my lawyer and my lawyer looked at me and I carried on talking through the muzzle. And he came across again, put his hand on my shoulder, and he came to my ear. And he said to me, take your mask off, it's not needed. Now, at that point, I was just, I can't even tell you what I thought. So I took it off, and I put it on my arm. And he then said to me, that's better, I can see you now. What does that tell you?
To be honest with you, it all sounds pretty sinister, Tony, really. It all sounds pretty sinister, and I think a lot of people will be forgiven for hearing what you've had to say there, taking it at face value and wondering whether or not there was a bit of a charade going on. One very quickly, Tony, I'm sorry about this, but one final one very quickly with you. If this all happened again, and with the benefit of hindsight, would you have just bowled straight in to your mum's care home, forget the rules, because it looked like, frankly, people weren't sticking to them anyway?
I'd have kicked that door down. Believe me, I'd have kicked that door down. When I got my mum into the hospital, I don't know if I actually phoned up every day, asked how she was, and the care home was under a court order, so they had to abide by the rules. If my mum had a headache, if she had anything wrong with her, the minutest thing, by law, they had to call the family, each member of the family, as they always did previously. So I thought Mum must be okay. I'd heard nothing from them. I thought she must be okay. I'd go and do the window visits. I went every day. I never was told anything. I phoned up on the Sunday, the 17th of May, 2020. And I said, "Hi, it's only Tony." I said, "How's my mum?" And the girl said to me, "Oh, Tony, can we call you back in 5 minutes?" I said, "Yeah, of course you can." I thought they must be busy. I was out walking, just about to go walk my dog. 2-3 minutes later, my phone rang. "Hi, Tony, it's Rose Villa." And she said to me, "It's Jay." She said, "Tony, your mum's end of life." Now, I fell to the floor in the street. I fell to the floor. I literally fell to the floor. Telling you now, it breaks me. Now, how was she end of life? How did they not tell us? Why didn't they tell us? They broke the court order for one. And I just said, I didn't know what to say to them. I said, I'm coming there now. I said, "Tell my family. Please tell the family." So I get there. I get to the care home. Family's all outside, the majority of them. They wouldn't let us in. Okay. I lost it. As you said 2 minutes ago, what would you do if it was back then? I screamed. I said, "Get my mum an ambulance now." So with a bit of debate going on, they invited us in to discuss that. I said, "There's no discussion. Get an ambulance now for my mum." They said we could go in and sit and watch her die. Now, can you imagine someone saying that to you when you had no idea your mum was even poorly?
Look, Tony, can I thank you for coming on? It takes an incredibly brave man to come on and say the kind of things that you've said and to relive that. And I hope that you're all right and that your family are all right. And I hope that nothing like this ever has to happen to anyone again. Tony, thank you. And I do hope to speak to you again soon. Tony Stowell there.